So the residency process started off with about a few weeks of residency presentations where the preceptors and current residents were able to kind of talk us through their experience at their site, as well as like potential projects that we could have there, and basically just learn a little bit more about each individual site because every residency is different. So you get a little bit of different aspects from each thing, whether that's insurance, facilities, or just plain up clinical processes, healthcare delivery. So we get to learn a lot from the current residents and preceptors, and then we'll figure out where we want to apply, which ones we're interested in. And then we will go through the application process. And once those are submitted, we will have first round interviews, which are typically on Teams or Zoom. And those are with the current residents. And we get to talk a little bit with them about what they've learned, what they think would make a good fit at that residency. And then if you make it to the second round, you have a second round interview on site with the preceptor, and that's where you kind of figure out if it's a match or if you'd be a good fit. And then you submit your rankings for the sites that you interviewed with and liked, and the preceptors also submit their rankings, and then you're matched. So as an MHA MBA student, I have a lot of different conflicting schedules it's a little bit set up different than my other classmates. They have more of a work-friendly schedule, I'd say, whereas some of my MBA classes are during the workday, so I'd have to leave my residency to go back to work. But all my professors in both schools have been very supportive, and my preceptor has also been very supportive, and he knows that I'm a student first, and he knows that if I have an exam, then I can take time off to study for my exam, or if I have another priority with school, then I'm very open with him about that, and he's very flexible with me. So a lot of what I didn't know before coming to this program was a lot of Excel stuff, which is definitely transferable to your residency or pretty much any other career path that you take. I think we get a lot of exposure to using Excel for finance, and also in the stat class on the business side, I've been able to apply a lot of that, like pivot tables, to my residency, which I think is super important and a skill that I will definitely carry forward into my career. And also I've just learned a lot from my cohort and the students around me, as well as the professors and staff. And I think being able to see those different perspectives and knowing everyone comes from something different, I've been able to apply that to my residency and be more open. So I think one of the things I want to take from my residency and bring to my classes and my future career are probably working with a bunch of different levels of leadership. In my residency, I've gained exposure to executives, vice presidents, as well as directors, and I think you can learn something different from each of them, and also they have different perspectives on things, so kind of just figuring out the middle ground between those things. Professional development is a very big thing. I came straight from undergrad, so I didn't have a ton of experience going into this program, and I think just that exposure and that level of ownership over projects that we have is going to go a really long way, and I think it's going to build a lot of confidence for me moving forward, and just getting more experiences under my belt and being able to say I've done this, or having results to my work, which I think is super important.